Hi, my name is Jay Costin, and I'm an independent rep for a couple of different manufacturers, and one of them is PreBuck. And we're here today with Dan DeLuca, and he kind of runs the joint, and Brett Schlosser, he owns the joint. And yeah, we want to tell you a little bit about PreBuck, who they are, what they do, and then hopefully familiarize you a little bit with that, and then also go out and watch this stuff being cut.
All right, I'm Dan DeLuca, and I have been working here for 2.5, about 3 years almost. And like Jay said earlier, I am running the shop and everything, and going through there. So I'll usually be after Jay on the next main contact that you'll be talking with.
Yeah, I'm Brett Schlosser. I'm the owner, founder of the company. Started this in 2009. This is going on our 12th year now, and what we do is we custom fabricate a specialized LSL material that's treated with zinc borate. It's designed for concrete application.
So Brett, can you tell everybody where we're standing here today, where your business is located?
Yeah. PreBuck is located in Wyoming, Michigan, which is a sub-area of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're located on 28th Street, 2555 28th Street, between Byron Center and Ivanrest.
Now, so you said that you started this in 2009, but can you tell us a little bit about maybe what you were doing and why you started this?
I was working with Hager Distribution. I was in the engineered lumbers department, and we had brought on an insulated concrete form, and I took a liking to it, and then I saw that there was a need for a window and door bucking system for that industry. Customers were bucking out the frames with treated 2x12s, which I do not recommend. So I designed the first product, the buck here, for window and doors.
So how did you come up with the name PreBuck?
The product we were manufacturing was a pre-assembled buck system, is what we were sending into the market. We were trying to do as much labor as possible in the factory, so when it hits the job site, the customer has limited, minimal installation and assembly. So that's how I came up with PreBuck.
All right.
And the buck is a buck in a window and door jam. That's called a buck, and then PreBuck. Just sort of the way I came up with it.
You told us a little bit about the material itself being LSL, but what makes this different than what we might see as a floor joist?
The material is actually, it's treated with zinc borate through the whole cross section.
So the zinc borate allows for what?
Zinc borate is a treating process that eliminates rot, insect, fungus, just like your standard green treated lumber. This is treated the same, it's just they don't have the dyes in it. The material was originally designed for sill plate application, and it's designed for direct contact with concrete. Also, benefits it offers is it's non-corrosive to metals, so you can attach aluminum coil stock, you can put aluminum nails, you can put any type of fastener right to this product. It will not oxidize it. That's very beneficial on job sites.
Storefronts and stuff.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Aluminum storefront material can go right directly against this product.
Yeah, we've seen that where oftentimes they'll have treated lumber, but then they have to encase the treated lumber in something to prevent the oxidation from happening. Whereas with this, what you're saying is you could go right to this and save that step.
Right directly to the product. And then what you also end up with is you have a stable, straight platform to start attaching future building components to, such as you know, you're going to have windows and doors, obviously, and then you're going to have mechanical openings, louvers and ductwork and such, and then after that, you know, your building components come in. You got moldings to attach to this. You got drywall returns. Also, if you want to put blinds on down the road, this is giving you a stable platform to attach all your products to. Being a stable structure, it eliminates the opportunity for drywall cracks, nail pops, and anything else that a product like a treated 2x12, which after it dries out, it's going to twist, cup, curl. This gives you a stable product that will, to help on, you won't have to come back and do, warranty work, fixing different issues that are going to happen around these openings.
And that'd be like on the windows and box, you would find where that would damage the drywall, and I can attest to, as used as a parapet wood blocking, is when you go back to put the sheet metal on, or when the roofer has to put the sheet metal on, it's a perfect surface for them to attach that metal to. With the twisting and the warping and the splitting of treated lumber, whether it's 3/4 inch plywood or 2x, the irregularity of that surface due to this, all those things, telegraphs right through the edge metal, so it looks terrible. This gives them a surface that they can rely on being 100% the same no matter when they do it. It can be left exposed for a long time too, right?
Oh, yeah. I've had it exposed on job sites for up to 8 months. Again, what Jay was saying is that, like copings and stuff, it eliminates oil canning or transferring any waves or anything from the metal copings that you put on it, or metal cappings. Really makes a nice clean finish.
What markets who typically is buying the coping or the wood blocking?
That sort of varies. A lot of on the projects, the contractors that are installing the wood blocking.
So the general trades guys.
General trades, yeah. We're in 6,000.
Yeah, 6,100.
6,100.
Yeah. In case you're watching, it's 6,100.
Yeah. General trades. Normally, this is already on before the roofers get up there.
And occasionally, I think it ends up in the roofers and the roofers' scope. They like it when it's in their scope because it's easy for them to order and it's easy for them to install. On some projects, the wall width, you don't have the same wall width all the way around the building, right?
Yeah.
So when you have varying widths, how do you address that with your packaging?
Yeah, what we do is most projects you're going to have anywhere from 3 to possibly up to 8 to 10 different sizes, widths, different factors on each wall. There's going to be something different. And what we do is we get working with the superintendent. We start to discuss, have him lay out on his print, color code his print. Such as red, blue, yellow, down certain walls. And then when it comes off the machine, what we do is we spray paint the ends. So when it's coming out to your job site, everything's color coded. And the benefit to that is you're getting 16-foot material out there. It's color coded. The staging on the project, as far as all you have to do is pull, let's say you're doing area B, you can pull your materials right off of the, from the color coding and just take it to that section. And what you need is just, you don't need a master carpenter up there. What you can do with this, part-time kids can do this, put this material up. We're doing everything in this shop as much as possible. Especially once we get used to, the superintendent gets used to us and we get used to them, we start working together and, really eliminates, the labor savings is unbelievable.
Yeah, and talking to some general contractors that have used this product, they said it's broader than just the ease of installation, and there's no cutting, there's no carpentry that needs to be done. All they have to do is attach it. But beyond that, loading the roof, having things in the right spot, so you kind of fine-tune the logistics of the job too. And guys tell me that their picks, they can reduce their picks by 50% by having it packaged the way that Brett and his folks package it here. So that's very beneficial as well. So where exactly did the idea for the cap come from? You're making the box for the windows and the doors, we get that. One day you didn't just wake up and say, hey, you got to put this on top of a parapet wall. Where'd that come from?
Just, you know, I was reading blueprints and looking at cross sections of window and door bucks on some insulated concrete form schools actually down in Toledo. This was probably, I don't know, about 6-7 years ago. And then I you know, started looking at the cap, and it just you know, basically looked like a mess up there. Very difficult, a lot of different pieces and parts coming together, and you know, I just thought there's a, you know, easier way to do that, especially with my product, and you know, I started to design it, and you know, it's working very well. This is a very common way to do a parapet cap that we see in drawings quite often. It's a 3/4 inch treated plywood. You have to cut this. You got a 2x4 treated. You got another piece of cut 3/4 inch treated plywood. You end up with an air void down here. This material, during different weather conditions, it structurally moves and is constantly moving, which is going to have your fasteners will work themselves out into your roofing membranes and such. That's how leaks and stuff happen. In a 2-foot section here, you're going to need about 11 fasteners to build 2 lineal feet of this material. You know, and those 11 fasteners, you know, with expansion and contraction, you know, the nails and screws work themselves out. This material is constantly moving. Now, PreBuck's answer to that issue is right here. This is PreBuck. We're pitched at 3/8 of an inch. We have 2 anchor openings. They're pre-drilled, pre-pitched, it's cut to your width. And basically you take a 16-footer and you can put a 16-footer up in 3 minutes. So if you have a 20-inch cap and comes to you in a 16-footer, you put it up, you put 9 of these anchor openings, anchor bolts on in 3 minutes. Structurally, this material cannot curl, it cannot cup, it cannot warp, it cannot twist. You know, gives you a stable structure to attach your roofing membranes and also your aluminum copings. It eliminates oil canning, curls. This product here, you basically have to have a master carpenter up there plus another employee. You field cutting. I mean, the labor savings is astronomical. I mean, from what the data we've been told from some very large commercial contractors in town here is that 2 employees, they figure 2 employees, possibly 3 employees can put up about 150 lineal feet of this in a day. This old style. Our product, you know, you can put up 1,200, 1,500 lineal feet in a day. This is our standard parapet cap. If you notice, it's got a 3/8 inch pitch per foot. This is our anchor bolt that's designed to go into masonry. It's countersunk. There's 9 of these per 16-foot length. And then from the roof side looking out, we center them 1.5 inches thick out at the outer point. Now, if you need more fastening area on the outer edge, and a lot of architects with different copings, you might need a thicker attachment out here. This is called what we call a fascia extension, this blue one. What we do is basically we just put a 2x or cut our material, and then we'll nail it from underneath, and now you have 3 inches of attachment area. There's absolutely no reason to be bringing this material back down underneath this onto this wall. It's just wasting material. The attachment point is still back here at the wall. If you're going on a metal or a wood wall, you don't need these countersunk anchor openings. You just use your standard fasteners that you would use for, you know, plywood and such. This is a sill plate here where we put a oblong hole in. So basically what you're doing is taking this, comes in 16 foot. We try to center it in the middle of the block or ICF, or and then when the concrete's wet, you put it on the wet concrete and take your J-bolt and you shove it in the J-bolt. You're done. You come in tomorrow, you can either set your trusses or set your floor joists or whatever you're going to be setting on there. This product here came from the parapet cap, but what it's designed for is the transition points between two different floors where you have different exterior substrates such as brick. And then let's say we're coming up to ephes or we're coming up to a metal paneling up in here. This gives you a stable structure to attach aluminum to, and it has a nice nice bevel here, real aggressive bevel. And over here is we ran into some projects where the architects are drawing insulated units, insulated caps, and this we developed this, and this product is this one's example. This is 20 inches wide. You know, it's one piece. It comes to you just like this, okay? And what we did is we just come up underneath, and we put these in, and then we can put an 1.5 inch thick piece of insulation in there, friction fitted up in there. Now that will come to you just like that, 20-foot lengths. You put it down, your fastener is coming in from the top, so it's attaching the whole structure to the wall. You can cantilever off the face, you can cantilever off the back here. Usually this is, you got insulation coming up the back of the parapet. You know, you cantilever back, it's showing that. Now if you needed more fastening area out at the front, you know, we would just come over here and we would take a fascia extension and we would attach it right here. There's absolutely no reason that you have to waste all that material going back onto that wall. And looking at parapet caps over the years, the way they're designed and stuff, there's a massive amount of wasted material. I mean, you know, this is, we try to do everything in the shop as much as possible, so when it hits the job site, you know, speed and your general laborers can look at the print, and you go and we color code products to the print. Take the orange ones, and your general labor, not your master carpenters, are the people that can put this stuff up, which is you know, a lot of dollar savings. Take the orange ones and put them on the orange wall over there. You know, get it started, get your 1/16-footer started, and most walls you only have one cut per wall. When you get to the end, you cut it. The most you're probably going to have is like 2 cuts, and then you just start putting the 16-footers up there.
How many employees do you actually have?
Dan's my full-time employee, then we have about 3 part-time college kids, and Dan's dad just started with us. He's
Met him the other day.
Retired 35-year phys ed teacher, and he just started for us. He's a little old power lifter, and yeah, he's doing real well. And then most of the part-time kids are played football at Grand Valley State. And you'll notice Big Dan, he was a tackle, guard, and a center for Grand Valley State.
Are there any projects that you've worked on with the parapet cap outside of Michigan?
Yeah, we're presently we're the design spec for all the Amazon buildings, and we're shipping to just different locations and stuff. And then we do a lot down in Bowling Green, Kentucky. We got some schools down there, and we got some builders down there that just love our stuff in Kentucky. We got projects everywhere. Texas, Florida, Disney. We got a 19-story hotel going right now, and Fishers, Indiana, we just finished up a 7-story hotel, and we're doing all the window and door frames and the parapet caps on those.
you were doing, I know you were doing a lot of the breweries. Are you still?
Yeah,
all of those guys?
yep.
And then you're also part of the, as I understand it, part of the remodeling project at
Guantanamo Bay, we
Yeah.
have 4 Army naval barracks, and we're supplying all the window and door bucks for those. We're actually cutting the 3rd Army barracks out. We're gonna start on that tomorrow. We've already shipped 2 to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Yeah, and
Well, that's awesome, and in just a minute we'll head out and you can kind of walk us through the process, but before we go, you were the first ever recipient of the XP Award, and
that is a good point. The product does contribute to lead points. So if you're getting into a green project or after points for lead, you know, this product does contribute to lead points. It's there's no formaldehydes, no off gases, and that's when I designed the product. That's what you know. That was very. I had to have that in a product. So,
is there what are the lead times like typically?
we can turn usually within about 2 weeks. We can turn parapet caps, and you know, if you got small, you know, we're pretty nimble. We can change quick. You know, if you need a couple of pieces quick, we can usually pull off and get them cut out for you, and you can pick them up the next day or 2 days
Yeah,
later.
I think we did that at Studio Park. Was kind of a tight job site, and they needed a little bit at a time, so they would call and let us know what they needed, and we'd run it down there to them, and it made it really easy for them, and kept the job site unobstructed as well. So.
And what and back to the Studio Park that Jay was talking about, what they were doing is bringing their walls up, and they were dialing in their sizes, their widths. So it was sort of last minute calling in the sizes that they needed. And that, you know, that's being a small company and getting to know people and our superintendents and stuff. We can, you know, we have the availability to do that. It does become difficult once in a while, but you know, we can really dial in the widths of those caps when you're bringing your walls up.
And that's a great point, because the way something is drawn or the dimension it shows on the print isn't necessarily the way that, I mean, it could be off, you know, just a little bit, and you can't get dimensional lumber to accommodate that without a bunch of ripping. Whereas if we wait till, you know, the last possible minute to measure that, once the wall's done, we can have them exactly the width that they are.
Yeah, when you're doing the takeoff and you're looking at the print, you know, this dimension might be 11 1/4. Well, once you get the wall up there and they start bringing it out, this might end up being 11 3/4 or 12 inches. So sort of waiting to that last minute to get that final measurement, and that's, you know, some of this, that's what we can do.
And you have one piece, you don't have a bunch of pieces
Exactly,
assembled.
yep.
So, great. Well, why don't we go out and take a look at how this stuff actually gets made. Before we get into the loud process of actually building these caps, can you tell us a little bit about what steps you take to ensure that the quality is consistent throughout the order?
So as we cut it to width, we'll usually have one person on this side and another person on the other side to unload it. And before they unload it, usually every 1 to 3 or 4 boards we'll measure just to make sure that our saw is hitting right on the spot that we need it to hit.
Okay. And is there a tolerance you try to stay within?
Yeah, we try to stay around plus or minus of like about an eighth inch. So
very good. So it runs through, so this first thing that we see is what?
So this is the table saw, and we cut it through the table saw, and it that gets it to the width that we need. And then once it's done being cut to width, we'll move it, if it needs the countersunk anchor openings, we move it over to our router, and that, you know, that where we can put the actual drill hole in, it varies between wherever you need it. And then
in regards to like the width
so
of the
basically
panel,
from the,
whereabouts, according to center, where that hole has to be.
Yeah, so on the width of the board, roof side looking out, if you need it 4, 5 inches, we put it at 4 or 5 inches.
Yep.
And then they'll usually come with about 9 on each board.
Yep.
And then about 24 inches on center as well. So,
Okay.
and then once it finishes with the router, we put it through the planer, and that's where we get that 3/8 pitch per lineal foot onto it.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the equipment. So do you just go to the store and you say, look, I want to build these parapet, these PreBuck parapet wood blocking caps, and you go to the aisle that has the equipment to do that, or did you have to build this stuff to accommodate what you want to do?
All the equipment's basically custom built. There's ideas and old equipment that we put together and rebuilt, and luckily we had access to some motor people and some tool and die guys that helped us out a lot, gave us some good ideas, and so on. Yeah, everything's pretty much custom built.
So when we ripped this down, we took like an inch off it. Typically that would start out with a 40-inch wide piece, so you can see kind of start to finish. What was the time on that, you think?
I would say it was about a minute and a half for this one board to go through the whole entire cycle.
Minute and a half for the process, and it comes off the line, and as a specifier, you now have a system that you can specify instead of like a hodgepodge assembly to be put together at the root's edge. Each piece is exactly the same, and so reliable and so consistent that this can fix a lot of problems. Brett, thank you.
Yeah.
Dan, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, any questions, call these guys.